hymns.
Hello everyone, I am Jenny Axler, and in this video on our BrailleSense 6, we're going to talk about and demonstrate video creation. When we were at CSUN and we were talking about all of the accessories that we could support, we had so many people say, ooh, I want a YouTube, I want a vlog. So today we're actually going to show you how to do that on the BrailleSense 6, and we're going to do this in a couple of ways. There are two apps that we're going to show, and I will explain during the process why we're doing both and explain the differences. And then we're going to give you several samples that we've actually tried and tested with several different cameras, mostly from Logitech and Nexigo, but several webcams that we've tested. You'll be able to see the difference in quality, hear the difference in sound, etc. So let's get to it. So I'm at my main menu, and the first app I'm going to show you is something called Open Camera. But before I do that, I do need to connect the camera. So I'll use the back USB port because it's convenient.
List USB camera.
And I get a bit of a prompt from another camera app that always wants to open every time. And so I'm just going to press F4 to ignore this.
File Manager, F.
And now I'll press A for all apps.
Amazon Shopping.
And O for Open Camera.
Open Camera.
And I'll press Enter here.
List Open button, switch to front camera, press Enter to activate.
And the first thing that happens is it places me on a button where I can switch the camera if I so choose, which in this case I do. We have made the unit think when we connect a USB camera that it's actually using the front camera. And we've done this so you can use a USB camera with programs like Zoom and Skype and Teams, because internally the Android operating system doesn't actually support USB cameras natively. So this is what we've done. And this Open Camera application is a free open source Android camera application that uses the Android video recording standards. So this also is going to see the USB camera as a front camera. So I'm going to press Enter on this.
Button, start recording video, press Enter to activate.
And it places me right on the Start Recording button, which is also fantastic. There's a lot of other things in this application, several settings and various things that you can explore if you want to. But once you've set everything the way that you want it to be, this is how simple it is. Now, it is displaying the live camera view right now, and if I want to start recording, I simply press Enter. And we get a very nice audible indicator that it is in fact recording. And I don't need to go and find a stop button or explore this application. In fact, I'll get lost a little bit if I try, because there's no reason to do it. All I need to do is press Enter to stop. And again, we get a different audible indicator, so it just doesn't get any easier than this. It makes audio recording extremely accessible. So now let's go play it back. I'm going to press F1.
File Manager, F.
And I'm going to again go to All Apps.
Amazon Shopping.
And I'm going to go to an app called Gallery, but in my list it's going to be the second Gallery app. The first one's going to be the Google Gallery, and that's not what I want to use. I want to recommend an app called Simple Gallery Photo and Video Manager, and the developer is Simple Mobile Tools if you look this up, and it's free on Google Play. And one of the reasons that I want to recommend it is I like its organization and its very, very simple interface, which of course is why they call it simple, I guess. So let's press G.
Gallery.
And we're going to move down.
Gallery.
And use the second gallery, so I'll open this.
List Gallery U button, Open Camera 22 row 1 column 1 and grid 2 rows, 4 columns, press Enter to
Okay, so now one nice thing about this is that all my videos are organized by application. So if I press F3.
Button USB camera 17 column 2, press Enter to activate.
Okay, there's a USB camera.
Button Rec 1 column 3, press Enter to activate.
This is a screen recording application.
Button Screen Recording 1 column 4, press Enter to activate.
This is actually the BrailleSense screen recording.
Button Camera Row 2 column 1, press Enter to activate.
And this is the Google Camera app. So all the various apps that I've used, I can actually go to a folder for each one of them. Instead of having just all my videos in a list according to the most recent or however you decide to sort them, you don't have to sort them. These are all very organized. So I'm going to go back.
Button Rec 1, button USB Camera 17, button Open Camera 22 column 1, press Enter to activate.
And incidentally, it will also always show the most recently used app at the top of this list. So I'll press Enter.
Button Vid 20,210,712 133,241 MP4 row.
Okay, also always will show you the most recent video that you took in each folder on the top. So I'm going to press Enter to play. And we get a very nice audible indicator that it is in fact recording. And I don't... Okay, and I just pressed...
20,200.
Excuse me, I just pressed F4 to return to the videos list. So it's very, very simple to play and again, exit. So it's just enter to play, and you can press F4 to return to your videos list. Now, one nice thing and one notable thing to know about this is that it doesn't have controls. So if you need to have controls, you probably need to use a different application. Remember that every time you open something for the first time in Android, it asks you, what do you want to use? It asks you, just once, always. You always get these prompts. So for this one, you want to use something called Gallery Video Player. And you'll always know that if you play a video for a sighted person from this, that it's very clean. There are no controls to hide. It's automatically in full screen mode. Again, it just doesn't get any easier than that. If you do need to have controls and you want to be able to move through the video, you would want to use another app. But for the most part, when you show a video, you're usually showing it to someone visual. So once again, this is the easiest way to handle that. So one last thing that I want to mention is that, as I mentioned earlier, this application uses standard Android video recording standards, which means that the resolution is limited to what the internal Android OS can do. This is not true for the second app that we're going to show you. So for the most part, you may not notice any difference, especially depending on what type of camera you use and what quality it gives you. But in the second application, it uses USB camera standards, and it doesn't actually follow the Android internal standards, so it's going to give you a little bit higher resolution. The way that Stella says it, that if you look at the videos side by side, you can tell if you are just watching one or the other, it's not really that noticeable, but just be aware of that. So let's go on to the second app. I'm going to press F1.
File Manager, F.
And A for all apps.
Amazon Shopping.
And we're going to use an app called USB Camera Pro. I actually have...
Ultimate Alexa. USB Camera.
I have the free version, which is this one right here, but the Pro version does not have ads, so it's going to be a better demo.
USB Camera Pro.
And this is, I think it's $5.49, and it lets you do some pretty cool stuff. So I'll press enter here.
List button USB using this device via USB 2.0 port.
Okay, so there's a couple of things. First of all, I got a prompt, which I will explain in a moment, because the first problem I need to take care of is the fact that there are two of me. So I'm going to go to More Options.
Button motion detection, press enter to button more options, press enter to act list settings.
And I'm going to
button settings and list 8
choose
items,
settings.
press enter to activate, cancel OK. Button OK, press enter to activate list general settings.
Okay, now there's only one of me, so let me explain just what happened and how you need to take care of that. So when you open this application, it automatically allows you to monitor what's coming through the camera's microphone. Unfortunately, it's slightly delayed, so it's really hard to use that function. So you can turn that off. So the first thing I did was go to More Options, and then I went to Settings, and it tells me that it's temporarily going to disable the service while I'm changing the settings, and I had to choose OK. So that's what happened. Now the prompt about using USB 2.0, I'm using the USB-C port for a monitor for HDMI out right now, so I can't use that. This is actually a USB 3.0 camera, but it's not really going to hurt anything. It just gave me a prompt about that. Okay, there are a lot of things to explain when you're doing video, huh? All right, so let's turn this off so that this is not a problem. So I'm gonna jump forward
Button
a little bit.
length, minutes. Button enable microphone use devices built in.
I'm gonna F3 several times
button
here.
Button H. Button M. Button audio. Button reset resolution. Reset the saving button audio playback. Play the audio of UVC device. Press enter to activate. 1953.
Okay, so this is actually the setting that you want to change. There are two here, so if I press space F3,
Button enable UVC audio input. Use UVC device built-in audio input. Some devices may not be supported. Press enter to activate. 1853.
Okay, so this is actually if you want it to use your camera microphone. I think UVC is something like universal video capture or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. But this is your camera's microphone. So you can choose not to use it and use another audio source if you want. But if I move forward...
Button audio playback. Play the audio of UVC device. Press enter to activate. 1953.
This is where I get the monitor. So I don't want this, so I'm going to press enter to turn it off.
Off button save to SD card.
Okay, and it said off really fast, and then it returned to the top of the current screen to another setting. So now I can just press F4.
US button more US using this device via USB 2.0 port may lead to black screen or power.
Okay, so I'm getting that same little prompt about using USB 2.0, but I am now at the camera view, but there's now only one of me, which is what we want. But when I record, I will still use the camera's microphone. I'm just not hearing it play back to me. Okay, so now the reason that I'm showing you this device or this application and using this high quality camera is that this resolution is going to be a little bit higher. The other reason to show you this application is that it supports a ton more devices. It supports USB webcams, capture cards. It also supports, like, for example, if you have one of those VHS tape converters, those USB things that'll help you turn videotapes into digital video, you can actually do that via your BS6. So it supports a ton of devices. It uses USB video standards instead of internal Android standards, as I was mentioning. So this is not going to ask you to choose the front camera. It recognizes a USB camera as a USB camera. So that's fantastic, but the application is a little bit more complicated, as you've already seen. So the next sort of complicated thing, but not terribly complicated, is that you have to choose an unlabeled button to get to the record menu. So I'm going to press M for more options.
Button motion detection. Press button more options. Press enter to activate.
Now I'm going to press F3.
Button unlabeled. Press enter to activate.
This is actually where I want to go. This is a menu that will allow me to record. And it doesn't say anything, but it has come up. So if I press the letter R,
button record, press enter to activate.
I can press enter here.
Button USB camera 000000 rec, press enter to activate.
Okay, so I let that play. Usually I would normally stop that with backspace and enter, but that is what allows you to know that it is actually recording. It's giving you the time code of 000, but again, there's no audible indicator here. You also can't just press enter on stop. It doesn't automatically land you there. But if you press enter on the record button once more, it will stop the video. So I'll press the letter R.
Button record, press enter to activate.
And press enter to stop the recording.
Save storage emulated 0 USB camera IPEVO 202.
Okay, and it tells me where it's saved. So now I'm going to press F1 one more time.
File manager, F.
And I'm going to press A for all apps.
Amazon shopping.
And go back to my gallery.
Gallery. Button vid 20,210,712.
Where I was before, I'm going to press F4.
Button USB camera 18 row 1 column 1 and grid 2 rows, 4 columns, press enter to activate.
So now USB camera is now at the top of the list because that's the most recent app I used, and it tells me 18 videos are there and there were 17 before. So I'm going to press enter.
Button IPEVO 2021 07 12 13 48 22 5.
And again, I see the most recent, so let's press enter to play it. Okay, so I let that play. Usually I would normally stop that with backspace and enter, but that is what allows you to know that it is. Okay.
Button IPEVO 202.
So I've returned to my video list with F4. And again, you can hear a difference in the microphone. This is using the camera's internal microphone, so you can tell a difference between what's going through my mixer and what's actually being recorded in the video. And this is the Logitech Brio, in case anyone's interested. So that is basically how it's done. Now, because this does give more true-to-life camera quality, we used this to make the samples that we're going to show you next. We tested several webcams with the BrailleSense 6 just to see what all would work and sort of identify the quality and ease of use and things that we wanted to recommend to you. So now we're actually going to show you several samples that we did shoot using this particular application. This is the Logitech Brio with the BrailleSense 6. This is a really expensive camera. It's definitely higher range. Right now it is recording in mono, although it says it does have dual microphones. This is a really good picture quality. It's a USB-C connection. You would probably purchase this if you were trying to purchase something that you could also use with your PC that's going to give you a high quality picture all around, but it will still work with the 6. This is the Logitech C925E. Again with the BrailleSense 6 using the USB camera app. Now, this one is probably my best overall recommendation in terms of price. It's about mid-range. Both the audio and video quality are good. It does have built-in stereo microphones that sound pretty decent, as you can hear. And again, like I said, the video quality is good. It's very portable, so it's easy to move around with you. It does have the typical Logitech clip that will clip on a monitor or something, but it also has a tripod thread, so you can screw in a little tripod to it, and again, that gives you even more adjustment in terms of angle, etc. So again, like I said, I think this is my best overall recommendation. This is the Logitech C920 Pro. Now this one also has stereo mics, and the video quality is probably pretty accurate to what you're hearing as well. So if you compare this to the C925E, you will notice that the C925E does sound a little bit better, and I'm going to say that it also looks a little bit better, but this is also pretty decent. It's about $10 cheaper. It's maybe $75 to $85, whereas the C925E is going to be something like $85 to $95 or something like that. But again, it's still a very good camera. It's a little bit smaller too, so very portable. It does have a threaded tripod mount on the bottom of the clip, so it can either clip to a monitor or you can put it on a tripod mount and use it that way. All right, again, this is the Logitech C920 Pro. This is the Logitech C270. This is the cheapest and most adorable camera that we have on the list. It's actually super small, but the audio and video quality are not terrible. It's not as good as the C920 Pro or the C925E, but it is definitely better than the Nexigo N660 that we show here. This one really will get the job done. If you just need this for Zoom calls, both with audio and video, it's not terrible. It is a mono mic, but it sounds pretty good. And like I said, it's just tiny. This can really easily fit in your side pocket or a zipper pocket of a carrying case or something like that. So that's its advantage, and of course also its price. I've seen this for around like $31. It's actually even cheaper than the N660, but it's quite a bit better for that price. So again, this is the Logitech C270. This is the Nexigo N930E. This quality is also pretty good. The audio quality is not, as you will hear, but the video quality is better than the audio quality sounds. This one is a really bright camera. It's going to be better if you have darker conditions, if you are in a darker room. Also, of course, this is going to be better if you're using a secondary audio source. It does kind of have a cool design. It has a neat little oval design, so that's kind of fun. But again, I'm going to say that this one you're going to want if you have a darker room condition and if you use a secondary audio source. But it's a decent quality camera. Again, it's the Nexigo N930E. Okay, this is the Nexigo N930AF. This again is a really small little camera. It's a little bit of a clearer, balanced picture than the last one, than the Nexigo N930E. Again, the audio is terrible, but don't let that fool you. This camera is actually decent quality. The other thing that it does is it autofocuses, so that's of course really helpful for those of us who cannot see it, because it will autofocus. So this is a really good function, but again, you probably will want to use a secondary audio source, but if you intend to use a USB mixer or microphone, etc., that's fine, because it'll just work. Okay, this is the Nexigo N660. This is a really cheap camera, and you can see and hear that. It's about $30 to $35, so if you're looking for something that will just get the job done, that isn't going to break the bank, this will do that. This is the IPEVO document camera. Now, this is one of the most versatile cameras on the list, because it has all these bendable legs and it can be in just about any position. There are a few things that you need to know about the orientation if you can't see it. You're going to have the lens, you can turn it, and so you want the rounded space to the right. On the lens itself, there are a couple of buttons for brightness and zoom. Again, you might need to have a sighted person check it before you take a video with this. So this quality is going to be similar to the mid-range Logitech models. So the quality is okay. It has a mono mic, but the audio, it's not fabulous, but it's doable. What's great about this is that it does work in any position. You can use it as a document cam for OCR because you can angle it directly down onto a table, etc., because of all its bendable parts. But you can also, of course, point it at your face and use it as a webcam. So again, this is one of these things that if you're looking for something that you want to use mostly for OCR, again, that you might want to use with your PC, but that would also work as a webcam with your BrailleSense 6, this is a really super good, versatile, all-around model that does a lot of things. Thank you all for sticking with us. We know this one's been a little bit long. We did have a lot to cover. So I think the moral of the story here is that you can never go wrong with Logitech, right? The Logitech cameras, pretty much anyone you choose is going to be a good idea. Now, the Nexigos really don't look as bad as they sound, but I know if I were a blind person listening, I would probably just go for the Logitech. As it happens, though, you can use any USB plug-and-play camera. Now, the keywords there are plug-and-play. You cannot use something that requires a driver, and if it requires an app for Android, you will just have to try it and see. We don't know, we can't test everything. But generally, if it is a USB plug-and-play webcam, it is going to work. And as I mentioned, with the USB camera app, you can also use other video capture devices as well. So that really expands your versatility on that. So these, of course, are not the only cameras that work with BrailleSense 6, and they're not the only apps that work with BrailleSense 6. Also, one thing we didn't do was to take photos, but both of these apps allow you to do that. We just recorded videos because I know that that's something that you are most interested in. And in our next webinar type video, we're going to actually talk about audio accessories and show those and give you audible and video examples of those as well. Because in many instances, you may want to use a camera with a different audio source, and you're able to do that. With both of those applications, you are actually able to use an external audio source as well, but we wanted to give you examples of what the cameras themselves sound like, especially if you want to use them for Zoom or Teams, etc. Anyway, I do think I've rambled enough for this go-round, so we will get this ended and posted. So we hope you found this useful. For more information about any of our HIMS products, you can visit our website at www.himsintl.com or send us an email at hims@selvishc.com. Thanks for watching.